Good evening, everybody. Wow, this is the biggest crowd we've ever had at the meeting in December. It's really kind of encouraging. Wow, that's all I can say. First on my name's Cliff Weiner, I'm president of POA. First on our agenda is we're going to stand for the pledge to the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence for our first responders and military personnel. Thank you. Please be seated. Next on the agenda is our reading of our minutes from our November 21st meeting by our Secretary, Reb Benson.
I was trying to hide on you back there and you wouldn't know I was there. Good evening, everybody. So what we normally try and do is just cover some of the highlights in a minute so we don't spend too long on that, so we can get through all of our other announcements and through our speaker for tonight. So what I want to do is cover in some of our call to order items. The one item what we had was our membership director, Ken Nodal, introduced VJ and Karen Thompson, and they helped out a lot with the whole issue we had with the water spike bills and whatnot, and then worked with Dan Warren from the NSCUD as far as when some policies got updated associated with it. So Ken provided the Thompsons with a POA certificate of appreciation last month. And then Cliff mentioned that the issue will remain open for anyone that continues to have a water spike bill problem. But at least we now know that there's a process in place and to address it and, you know, a one-time relief in the policy that they put together. Regarding announcements, the only other thing I wanted to mention from last month was Cliff provided Gary Cato a check for the POA, from the POA for $600 for the Support Our Soldiers program, something that the POA has been supporting for a number of years. This money was from a couple of the POA bulletin operations folks that donated their end-of-year bonus associated with it. Gary said that the donation will help ensure that the children of veterans receive a Christmas party this year, which may have already happened. Yep. Then we had the POA directors for 2024, where the nomination process was, we went through that, and that included everybody, and I won't go over that because tonight is the oath of office for everybody. But there was a motion to close the nomination process that was approved. Then there was a motion to approve all the names that we had for board members for 2024, and that was unanimously approved. Our speaker was Susan Elwell, an independent contractor with Power, the largest solar energy company in the U.S., and she provided a presentation on solar power. She basically covered three questions. How does it work? Solar panels are photovoltaic PV cell panels that develop energy from sunlight, and inverters that provide direct current, meaning electricity, to your home and to the grid via your meter. And by the grid, it means the power source that you got coming in, like when you get Seco Power or Duke Energy Power or whatnot. Net metering is the combination of electricity from the panels and from your grid. Your home uses current from the panels during the day and then from the grid at night, resulting in electrical bills that are either very small or zero or even possibly a credit. How did they build it? They have rails that hold the solar panels, and microconverters connected to the panels are mounted on your roof. Each panel weighs about 42 pounds. Install enough panels aiming for 105% offset regarding your energy use. So some you might put on 12 panels, someplace you might put in 15, 20 panels, depending on what you need. After passing an inspection, the electrical company then installs a bidirectional meter in place of your existing one. Why now? Well, every 4 minutes a family goes solar power in the United States. Not dealing with rate hikes while renting energy that you currently are doing. You also increase your home values and you get tax incentives. In the U.S., electricity rates doubled from 2003 to 2018 and then have gone up another 25% since then. Her comment was that you might be able to recognize almost $47,820 in net savings over 25 years. Now, I know maybe some of us wonder if we'll be around in 25 years, but it's okay. Home values increase 4 to 6%. And then you might even sell your home 20% faster. Currently, there is a 30% federal tax incentive plus a Florida tax benefit at no additional tax on the increased value of your home. You adjust your electrical bill to get started, to determine the number of panels you need, and then about 3 months later, you'll be up and running. You can go with plans that say you pay for cash for their whole system, loan, or a lease. Some of the questions that were pertinent was, what is the impact on a roof warranty and cost when replacing your roof? No impact on roof warranty, and the solar company warrants their installation. They highly recommend that you use a solar power company to both install and then remove it if you're getting the roof redone, and then reinstall it afterwards. And then she said it might be about $1,000 to take it off and then another $1,000 to put it on. But it's sort of like the lightning protection system. Use a certified person to take care of something like that. What about the future with all electrical cars coming out? Well, if you're going to have an EV car, air conditioning and heating take up the most electricity, so you may need more panels in the future if you decide to have 5 electrical vehicles in your driveway. And then I'll get somebody. Do you need batteries for your solar panel system? Do not recommend using batteries unless you have frequent power outages, and even then would highly recommend using a generator instead of going to batteries. Inefficient. And then we concluded the meeting about 8:15.
Thanks, Rep. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Second? All in favor? All opposed? Approved. Okay, now it's time for our treasurer's report. Ash, who just got back in out of town, I think.
For the month of November, we had income of $17,884 and expenses of $20,112, leaving a negative cash of $2,636. Our operating cash balance stands at $105,304. I just want to urge you all to become a member if you're not, and renew your membership. If you haven't renewed, your membership runs this organization. Thank you.
Thanks, Rev. Our membership director is not here, but I will take care of that. First of all, if you're a new member and you sign up, we send you one of these cards. It's got 21 businesses in the villages that you get a discount on. It's free when you pay a $15 membership as a new member. What I'm going to start doing as of tonight, if you're a renewing member and you make a payment and make a $5 donation or more, we will also send you one. That more than, I guarantee you, you'll get hundreds of dollars use out of this. First of all, Dunkin' Donuts is on. Gilbert, Dunkin' Donuts is on. So please, when you make a payment, please, if you make a donation, we'll send you one. Secondly, April 20th is our shredding event. It's going to be at New Covenant Methodist Church on 101. This is our 5th, I think, or 6th year. I lost count. I will tell you, you have to be a paid-up member. Your dues have to be current as of April 20th. In the last 2 weeks, I've issued 270 tickets. They're going to go fast. It's going to fill up. I guarantee you. First of all, it's someplace you can come in your golf cart. This is the first time we've done it where you can get there in your golf cart. We've been doing it at Wildwood Community Center, where you have to take a car. So hopefully lots of people are going to come in their golf cart. If you want a ticket, send an email to POA number 4, numeral 4, YOU@gmail.com. And if your dues are current, you will get one in the mail. Please, just give me a couple of days to do it. We got 65 requests today alone. So I try to do them as fast as I can. So thank you for that. Please, if you're interested in doing it, April's going to come fast, but it's going to fill up long before April. And we're only going to be issuing about 950 tickets. So we're about a third of the way already. And we got a long way to go. So oh, I know what we got to do first. Len, you're up. It's time for us to swear in our new board and officers. So will the board members and the officers that are present please come forward.
Okay, thank you, Cliff. Good to see everybody here tonight. It's great to see a full room for this ceremony. Over the years, the objectives of your POA have not changed. They are the same today as they were in 1975, some 48 years ago. We believe in these 5 basic principles and anticipate these officers and directors standing before you will accept them with a affirmative I will. Actually, there are 4 for them, and there's 1 for you. The 5th one is for you folks. Number 1, the primary goal of the Property Owners Association is to protect the rights of all residents of the villages. Will you work towards this goal? Thank you. Number 2, in order for the Property Owners Association to become a more visible and viable organization, we must promote it to the best of our ability. Will you work towards this goal? Thank you. Number 3, the Property Owners Association is a positive and cooperative organization, yet on many occasions must negate unfair or illegal edicts of the developer or their government. Will you keep a positive and cooperative attitude whenever possible? Thank you. Number 4, the Property Owners Association has a charter and bylaws. Will you honor these documents? Thank you. Now the 5th one is for you folks. The Property Owners Association requires a membership which is supportive of our organization and dedicated to its goals. Will you dedicate yourself to developing such an organization? Thank you. The ceremony now completed. You are now officially installed as members of the board or officers of the Property Owners Association of the Villages for the 2024 year. And you can be assured during that tenure you'll have the best wishes and appreciation and cooperation of the entire membership. Please join me in thanking these folks for volunteering their services for the benefit of all of us. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize Cliff. This will be his 9th year as president. Give him a special thank you for his service.
Thanks, Len. I can't say it seems like less. It seems like it's 90. Wow, 9 years. Goes by fast. Okay, now it's time, something I started to do where I think the people that live in the villages should know the people that represent them on different boards and government entities. So I'm going to introduce some people who happen to be here, who happen to serve. First, I'm going to introduce the chairman of the Sumter County Board of County Commissioners, Craig Estef. Sitting at the back table, our secretary is Reb Benson, who serves on the AAC. Sitting up at the front table is Steve Lapp, who's the District 7 Board of Supervisors. Sitting somewhere is Mark Hayes, who serves on the District 4 Board of Supervisors. And I also serve on the District 4 Board of Supervisors. Okay, we did that. Sitting in the back, we have our friend from Seniors versus Crime, One Trust Realty, and Executive Suncool. And by the way, One Trust is going to donate 2 baskets. So after we have our meeting is over, those of you that bought 50-50 tickets, we will put the tickets back in the bucket and draw them again, and you'll have a chance to win one of 2 really nice baskets that they have back there. So don't run out when the meeting's over. Okay, starting next year, January 4th to be exact, we'll be holding our 2nd meeting at Everglades Rec Center south of 44. We'll be holding meetings in January, April, July, and October at Everglades. So besides the 12 meetings we have here, we'll be having 4 meetings south. Unfortunately, that was all the rooms I could get at this time. Rooms are really at a premium. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to add some rooms at different rec centers, hopefully when they open some. So I look for a big crowd in January. Our speaker will be Chief Twiss, who's going to talk about the Public Safety Department, some of the issues that they're having, and of course, what he hopes to see out of the dependent fire district. For those of you that don't know, our meetings are video recorded on our Facebook page, POA of the Villages. You can watch any meeting And we get quite a few hits. Lots of people watch it, so that's good. Deb, you want to say anything about Facebook?
How many of you have liked and followed the POA on Facebook? Ooh, we have a lot of opportunity. So when you go to Facebook, put in the words POA of the Villages at the top. Our page will come up. We ask you to like it and to follow the group, and you will get meeting notifications and other announcements via our Facebook page. You'll also get a notification if you're not able to come to a meeting that it is streaming live. So we hope that you will all like and follow POA of the Villages. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. For those who don't know, Deb is the editor of our bulletin. So she's the one that gives you all the information that you read. And she does a great job. How long have you been doing that now, Deb?
About as long as you've been president.
I know. It's a long time, isn't
90
it?
years, I think you said.
Yeah, about 90 years. It feels like that at deadline time. Not funny. You all know what this is?
Yep.
How many of you have vials of life in your refrigerator? Wow, there's a lot that don't. So for those of you that don't, Sumter County Sheriff's Department has a program called Vials of Life. You take that vial, there's these 2 sheets of paper to go with it. The second one is for your medical information. You fill that out, put it inside that vial, you put that vial on one of the shelves in your door. There's 2 green stickers. You put one on your front door and one on your door of your refrigerator. If and when you ever have to call EMTs, they're going to see this sticker, and the first thing they're going to do is walk to the refrigerator. They're going to save you precious seconds because all your information is on the second sheet that's inside that. They're not going to have to ask any questions. I will tell you that I've had the opportunity to use it for my wife, and it saved countless precious seconds and probably saved her life. So it's really, really important. We have a whole bunch of them in the back. Please take 1 or 2. I promised Captain Seymour that we would do this until every house has one, and we got a long way to go. So please help me out. And I know a lot of you, I see you wearing them around your neck. This is something that Community Watch has started, the CHIRP program. There's a whistle here. If you're out in the morning walking your dog, exercising, cutting your grass, if you blow this whistle 3 times, believe me, somebody's going to hear it. I speak from experience. I was cutting my grass, and I went down, and I couldn't get up. My knee gave way. I blew the whistle. My next-door neighbor heard it, came out, and helped me up. Please, 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 we got lots of these, and they got lots of them, and we're going to try to get one on everybody that's out at night walking their dog, hopefully not in dark clothes, because that's not a good thing. So there's a bunch of them back there, I think, still, aren't there? Yep, okay, so on your way out, if you didn't get one, please do. Oh, about once a year I have to say this. If you're going to send correspondence to the POA, and believe me, I welcome all the correspondence you want to send, whether it be good or bad. If you do not put a contact information on it, where we know who sent it, so we can get in touch with you, it is going in the garbage can. We are not going to read it. I don't even open them. So somebody sent something to every member on my board and me this past week, and not one of them got opened. So if you want to send us, and I encourage you to do that because I like to hear from you and see what's bothering you and what's not bothering you, you have to let us know who's sending it, because I don't know where it's coming from otherwise. And unfortunately, there's some people that do things they shouldn't. So I say that about once a year. Okay, now it's time for our cash raffle. Well, we're going to make money tonight. It's about time. So I'm going to read the last 4 numbers. First number is 3280. Donna, you get the money? Okay. We give away three $30 prizes. 3280.
Oh. I'll take it in donuts.
Yeah, Gilbert. 3276. All the way in the back, Darlene, the donut lady. 3332. That gentleman sitting there, you're going to walk by him. Donna, hun, would you put these back in the bucket so those people would have a chance to get the... Yeah, even Gilbert. Okay. Now it's time for our open forum. Our open forum, you can ask any kind of question you want, as long as it's not something that pertains to what our speaker's going to be talking about. I will attempt to answer it. If I don't have an answer or we don't have an answer, we will get one for you. So if you raise your hand, somebody with a mic will come around and... Mike, you see the gentleman in the aisle?
Yes, I'd like to know, why is it if you buy a piece of property in the villages, I understand that you agree to conform to all the rules and regulations, but what I don't understand is, why do you have to be responsible for something that was done to your property 30 years ago?
Actually, I think you're referring to the Stone versus Sod issue, which brought this whole thing up not too long ago. But because it's not the resident, it's the house, okay? And if you buy a house that is out of compliance and somebody complains, you're gonna have to fix it. Do I necessarily agree with it? No, but that's the rules. And until we can get a way to change it, it's gonna be kind of bad. I will tell you that someone has contacted me about going into a business where they are going to be willing to take a house that someone's going to buy or sell and check it to make sure that it is in compliance before you sell it or buy it. That's about the only way this is ever going to get solved. It's going to cost the residents some money, but it's sure worth a lot. It's sure a lot cheaper than the aggravation you go through the other way, that's for sure. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's the rules. We all signed that when we bought our house. It's a contract between you and the developer, not the districts, you and the developer. So that's the best answer I can give you. Anybody else? Wow. Steve, you're going to have a lot of time. Okay, seeing none, we'll start. Steve Lapp is on our board, and he's going to do a presentation on cut the cord, and obviously it's a popular topic because we have a huge crowd. So Steve, it's all yours.
Thank you, Cliff. Everyone hear me? Well, that's interesting. Meet Kenny Rogers. All right, why aren't we? Yeah, mine are breaking the act. Okay, now I guess we can go. Thank everyone for coming. I'm amazed at the crowd. I guess it was a good topic. Name's Steve Lapp. My previous life, I did digital forensics for the Department of Justice, which gave me my IT background, perhaps more than I wanted. What my intent tonight is to introduce you to what is possible, what you may be able to do, not to turn you into experts by any means. Couple definitions. Bandwidth, maximum rate of data transfer across a given path. Data rate, number of bits conveyed or processed per unit of time, and then resolution. Most video is 720 by 480, which is your standard definition TV. 920 by 1080, or 4K is up to 3840 by 2160. I'm sure that meant a whole lot to everyone here. Here's the simpler way of looking at it. If you have 10 meg internet service, you'd be down here at the bottom of the funnel. 100 meg gives you a little more flow, 500 meg, a lot more, and 1 gig, about as much as you could handle. Bottom line is, the more data you have coming in, if your service isn't large enough to handle it, you're going to run into buffering, and at some point or another, you've all seen this, I'm sure. What do you need? Well, basically, a good connection to the internet, be it wired or Wi-Fi, Ethernet or direct. And then you need a device to take that signal and display it on your TV. Now these are just a few. The Amazon Fire TV Cube or Fire Stick, TiVo, that's relatively new. Roku, I'm sure everyone's heard about at least. Oh, and then at Walmart, another new one, works pretty well. Apple TV, that works well as long as you stick to Apple products. And Google Chromecast. A Fire Stick, you have a variety of prices on all these devices. The Fire Stick you can get for $18 up to $45. And being the holiday season, this is a great time to get one of these devices if you're so inclined. The Fire Stick 4K Max is a device that I've had a lot of success with. It has great processing speed. Who has Prime Video or Amazon Prime? All right, that is something you want to make sure you have, because all that content is free with just your basic service. Movies, series, things along that line. Roku streaming stick, $25 up to $80. And once again, they take and give you a wide variety of programming. The Apple 4K, $135 up to $180. It's a good product, a little expensive, but they are limiting in what you can actually add on. But they have a wide variety. This is the Chromecast, which works well, but it's also totally dependent upon your phone. It's just simply a mirroring device from your phone onto the TV. Oh, and then I've been testing this out. It works pretty well. It's relatively speaking dirt cheap, $29, but I understand you can also find it for $19 at Walmart, or at least online. And it works pretty much the same as the Fire Stick. And you can see on here that you can get your YouTube, Prime Video, essentially everything you can on the other devices. TiVo Stream, another new one, $25. And it's an Android type system, works well. You can download additional apps to it, and movies, etc. Now this is YouTube TV. If you decide to go to a streaming device and you want to get your networks, things along that line, YouTube TV is one way to get it. It contains around 100 channels. It's going to cost you about $80 a month. But if you take a look, you can get your internet for $80, YouTube TV for $80, so you get $160 in total investment on your television programs that you want. Wi-Fi extender. This is something you may or may not need in your house depending on where your router is located. I found that in mine I needed one, but $40 or $50 you can get an extender that works well and will light up your whole house. Many of you have heard of Kodi. This is something that in my opinion is obsolete. It was a service offered as a third-party app that had movies and TV on it. It was somewhat limited, but you can get so much more for basically nothing. Now this is going to differ a little bit from total streaming. Virtual private network. To simplify it, it's a application that allows you to be more secure in your transactions. If you use your phone, if you use your computer at a service like here, where it's totally unsecure, this will encrypt your data and keep you safe. Those who have used your cell phone to log on to a Wi-Fi at a local establishment, if you do banking, it's open to the public unless you put it through a VPN. Which is pretty much what I just said. Now you can use a VPN to bypass geographical restrictions. Translation, if there's a program that's only available in England, you can set yourself up so that you can receive that program. Now, in the past it was able to watch streaming things like Netflix and Hulu. Netflix has changed and they reject anything coming from a VPN. Also, the Villages doesn't care for VPNs. Apparently they got hacked a few years ago, and so they just prohibited connecting through a VPN. But it gives you some privacy online. Your location and what you're doing cannot be tracked. And now this is by legitimate VPNs. There are some free ones out there, but they don't necessarily keep your data secure, and they will slow down your system. Yeah, I pretty much covered that. Okay, so you're going to hide your browser history, your IP address or location, your devices, what you're using, and your web activity, which is a forensic engineer. I know it doesn't take much to take a look and get everything you have just from that. There are a lot of people that have been hacked on these open websites, and they've lost money. They've had their banking accounts and their financial data all accessed and sent to other locations. You truly have to be careful this day and age. And I already covered that. Free. The applications that are free to download from the internet, they have some degree of protection, but they also will provide data to other sources, history, etc. Well, they can't unblock Netflix. Well, neither can most VPNs now. The free ones will also slow down your network, and you'll end up with many ads that you didn't really care for. These are just a few examples of the free services. ExpressVPN, Norton VPN, IPVanish. These are all excellent private networks. They're relatively inexpensive. They don't slow your system down, or at least not that much, and you have true anonymity. A VPN Express is about $13 a month. 30-day money-back guarantee, but most of them have that. Norton VPN, one-year plan is $650 a month for the first 6 devices. After that, surprise, surprise, they want more. And then IPVanish, annually is about $54. This is the one that I use. Have great success with it. They do give you a 30-day money-back guarantee if you want to try it and see if it's right for you. Now we'll go into questions, which is what the primary purpose is, just give you an introduction so you know what questions to ask. One other thing I'll mention is there's a product called Magic Jack that if you have a home, does anyone still have their home service? Okay, with Magic Jack you can take and turn it into a voice over IP translation where you may be paying $40, $50 a month for your home phone line. With Magic Jack you'll pay $40 or $50 for a year, and it works just as well. So at this point, short presentation, just enough to develop some questions, I'm sure. Anyone out there? Bypass her.
Can you tell me the difference between an extender and a repeater?
Different terminology for the same thing. What you're doing is just boosting up the signal so you can see it in other locations.
Same thing, though.
Same thing, only different.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. I just spent about 2.5 hours with Comcast Infinity today, and I've had it with them. So I've been investigating the possibility of going cutting the cord altogether. One of the things that I really still want is all my network TV programs, ABC, NBC, CBS, blah, blah, blah. And I noticed that I guess with YouTube, you had that capability to get all those particular news programs. Because really what I'm driving at is I want to see the news. I want to hear the news, and what is the best provider for that? Is it YouTube, or how do I go about getting all my network news?
Well, you have a couple of options. You can stream CenturyLink. You can stream Comcast. You can stream the Dish. You can stream DirecTV. I've chosen YouTube TV because it's very user-friendly, easy to get around. You can set up the channels however you want them. They cover all your major networks, also Fox, CNN, CNBC, etc. Now, the national news like Fox and CNN, they have their individual apps which you can download and not need YouTube TV. But to get your regular programming, you're going to have to take a look at something. YouTube TV is very user-friendly, easy to get around. It's almost the same as the old TV service.
Over here,
My wife and I are big recording people. We like to fast forward through commercials. So that's one thing we want to make sure if we do cut the cord that we can still record our favorite shows and fast forward. And if it's a live show, can we pause it? Can we rewind?
That is depending upon the app you use. YouTube TV is an absolutely yes. You also have third-party apps that will let you address movies and TV programs at a later time. But the answer to your question is yes.
Radio Steve. I've used NordVPN for several years. Works great. The last few months, my computer locks up unless I go through my iPhone hotspot, and then it seems to work fine. I do have to tell you, my iMac's about 8 or 9 years old, running Safari browser. So I don't know if you have any insight on what my problem could be.
Well, I've never heard of that issue before. I would take a look at your Apple product. Make sure it's up to date with all the upgrades, as they call them. You may want to call Apple and explain the situation, but NordVPN's a good system, and I haven't heard anyone who had any issues, so I think it's going to be more or less a computer, your operating system, yes.
I actually have two questions. We moved in, well, we bought the house in 2022. At the time, we were only told we had one option for internet, and that was Xfinity. We've since found out we also have Comcast. Is that it?
Xfinity and Comcast are the same thing.
Sorry, Spectrum.
Okay, no, they're two different companies.
Right, but that's it? That's the only choices we have?
At this point, you've got T-Mobile, which is offering internet service, but that I tried it, and it just didn't have the signal strength to go from my laundry room to my living room TV. Verizon is going to be coming out with that type of service shortly, 5G service, and having run 5G hotspot, I find that that's fast enough to stream just about anything. But right now, where you're at, you're probably just limited to those two services.
Okay, then my other question is, we did cut the cord a long time ago before we moved here. We have an HD antenna, but you know, we've been told by the company, and we have a good one, that you know, the stations are on the other side of Orlando, so East Orlando, so we're picking up 29, but just on one TV. Any solutions for the other?
My understanding is that on the external antennas, the only real problem issue was NBC. The others seem to be coming through all right. It may be your antenna position or something along that line. You may want to take a look at that, but yeah, NBC was the only issue I heard, and that totally depended on where you are in the villages.
I've been here in the villages for 13 years, and believe me, I tried them all. What I ended up with was deja vu. It costs $30 a month, and I get thousands and thousands of channels, and I am tickled to death with it.
And I bet you bought that at the Market of Marion. No? That is a box which it's an application that will provide some services that may be copyright infringement. These services, though they're great while they're there, I'll agree with you with that part, some of them do tend to disappear overnight. So if you go with a service like that, the last thing you want to do is go on an annual service contract. Yeah, monthly, yes, quarterly, it's not going to be too bad, but that's the only issue with that service. You know, 3,000, 6,000 channels, absolutely. The entire NFL package. But Yep, but it's a question of copyright infringement. Get a VPN.
I have a question. I'm a little bit confused here. You had a list of all of those different types of boxes, Fire Sticks and all of that. I don't have any of those, and I can stream everything that you mentioned up there. Do I need those things, or what am I missing, or what's going on?
Okay. Many smart TVs now will let you stream directly. And if they'll handle the apps, most of them have YouTube TV, they've got YouTube, they've got several other options. And yes, with a good smart TV, you can stream directly from. You don't need a additional device. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I've been here about 2.5 years in the villages, and spent a lot of time getting everything set up and going through the various possibilities. It's mic on, various possibilities. You can get internet for $30 a month from Comcast if you're a senior. It lasts for a year. What we do is after the year's up, then my wife becomes a subscriber for the next year. But in order to get over-the-air channels, you need to have, you mentioned YouTube. What we have is DirecTV streaming. It's $79 a month, and we get everything we need to watch. So that seems to do it. Do you know what the price currently is for YouTube TV?
It's the same price. Probably find dish streaming is the same price.
Yeah, one more thing, I advise to people here, if you have Comcast or Infinity, you're getting it, don't get on the phone. That's total frustration. They have a store on Route 441 in Lady Lake. Go in. The people there are great. They'll solve your problems.
Well, how long did it take you to get service yesterday? What's that? 2.5 hours waiting for service at the store. Obviously, that's dependent on time and how busy they are, but yes. What?
I was going to bring, I'm right over here, right over here. I was going to bring up the idea that you don't need the devices that you talked about if you have a smart TV.
Yes.
I mean, all of the apps, you can load apps onto your smart TV, and most smart TVs can be connected to the internet via Wi-Fi if you have a router, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, you can also hardwire from your router to your TV, which
Absolutely.
I think increases the reliability of the connection and also the speed. But one of the my question is alternate sources of internet, and you mentioned one which was T-Mobile. But what about like the satellite services like DirecTV and those? Are they providing internet both upload and download? And what is the price of something like that, and what's their speed?
Well, you get a couple choices with the DirecTV or Dish. You can take it through their external dish hookup, and that's strictly download. Or you can go, they now will offer a streaming service, and that streaming service I think is about $80 a month also. The issue with the going through the satellite dish is rain. When it rains, it goes away. So if you're going to stream one of those services, I'd recommend doing it over the internet. And you're absolutely correct. If you can hardwire your Cat 5 into the back of your TV, you almost double your speed. When you go from a hardwire to a Wi-Fi, if you have 300 baud service, you're going to drop down to about 150. But so that's a very good point.
I think you just answered my question. I was going to question, Xfinity has all of these different megabytes per second levels.
Yes.
And I have 800 megabytes, but I did a speed test and it was 150. So I think it requires a hard wire. Is there any way to verify that
the speed test is accurate, or?
Well, you can try 2 or 3 different ones, but your speed test is probably very accurate. The 800 baud service that you have is a maximum that you can expect. Rarely will you ever see your maximum, even if you're hardwired.
Okay.
Now, I run at home off 300 meg service, and it is more than enough. But I've got cell phones, I've got several Fire Sticks, TiVo, and things along that line that I'm testing out. Don't have any problems.
Okay.
So you could probably save money by cutting down your service from 800 to 500 or 400.
Okay.
The only thing is CenturyLink is an issue. Their service is only 10 meg. No, they will go up to 20, maybe. And I've actually got a customer that'll take and has had no problem running his streaming service on CenturyLink. I'm not sure how he's doing it, but like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I suppose Xfinity did a good sales job on the 800 megabytes per second.
They are good, yes.
That's okay.
You need this speed. You've got 25 devices hooked up.
Thank you.
Change the name, but not the service. Yes, sir.
Hi. I'm fortunate to have Quantum Fiber, which is the fiber rather than cable. That does run 900 megabytes per second.
Big service, yeah.
The reason I did that, I had T-Mobile for internet. Worked for a while, but I have a IoT home, which is a smart home. And I have 65 devices connected to it. T-Mobile obviously couldn't handle that, but Quantum Fiber does a great job doing that. It's $70 a month, but it's very reliable. I don't know where it's available. It happens to be in our neighborhood. They have a box about every 8 houses, and then they have to go underneath the driveways to get to your house. So free delivery, so it's not a big deal. If anybody's interested in that, that's an option, maybe.
Yeah, it's just not widely spread through the villages yet, but you see them digging all the time.
Any other questions?
We're back here.
I was going to mention that I used to work for Comcast many years ago, before the internet was their main way of distributing signals. But Comcast currently sends their signal on a fiber link down to a neighborhood, to a node as they call it, and then from the node it goes into your home over a copper wire, which has a limited amount of bandwidth capability. Up in New Jersey, where I was originally from, Verizon came out with a fiber optic called Fios. And when that was two things. Number one, it was more reliable than the copper service, and it was faster, and it was essentially the same price. And I would like to see if there's more fiber being built. I've noticed that there have been trenching operations up and down Buena Vista. Do you know if that is fiber that they're trying to install?
That is fiber, I think. I'm not sure, but I believe that's CenturyLink.
CenturyLink. And what did you say was the speed that you're getting from CenturyLink fiber?
Oh, fiber is capable of 1 gig service.
But are you ever going to get that?
If you're hardwired, you can probably come pretty close to it.
No, what I mean is, you know, we've mentioned that Comcast, you can buy an 800 meg service, okay, but you're never ever going to get that.
No.
Okay, that's because they're throttling it back and they're sharing it with other places. With fiber optics, do you get that full gig bandwidth, or are they going to throttle it back?
Well, that's going to depend on their overall system load. I would imagine if they're spending enough money to put that fiber throughout the villages that you're going to get 1 gig hardwired or pretty close to it, 900 meg. Get something like that, it flies. But if you put it through Wi-Fi, you're basically going to have that 1 gig cut down to 500 meg. Not much you can do about that. I would imagine when they finally finish with the service that you'll get pretty close to a gig.
All right, the question had, are you familiar, there's a, I guess a streaming box called OctaStream. You pay, I guess it's a couple $100 for it, and you get absolutely everything, you know. And once you purchase it, that's it. Now the question at hand is, because obviously it's illegal, because you have everything from it, absolutely everything. You know, Netflix, all the streaming services are on
I was
it.
trying to be gentle by saying it might have an issue.
It might have an issue. Okay, so it just may at some point in time just go away, but right now apparently it's available and people are using it because they don't have to pay the monthly fees for each of the other streaming services.
Well, what I've seen on those boxes is they want a annual subscription from you. You know, $250, $350. I've even heard $500.
No, from my understanding, you buy the box. It's just like Roku or Fire Stick. You're done. That's it. Once you hook up, you're on your way. There's no monthly fee. Sounds pretty good, but I don't know.
If
there is no monthly
too good
fee.
to be true, it probably is.
Okay.
Because those services, when you go back to the point of origin, and they all feed back to one basically, they get paid every month a subscription fee from the people providing it. So you may be charging enough you can cover for a year, but he's going to come back to you for more money.
Quick FYI, Steve, and then a question. When the salespeople go door to door, and they can't, but when I saw a car pull up to my neighbor's Spectrum, and they do a much better deal. I got cable and 300 megabytes per second Wi-Fi. I think it was 180 channels on streaming. Again, you're saving money when you don't have the box, $10 a month, whatever that is. I have my own modem and router combined. I have a Motorola I think I bought off Amazon for $100 and some, but you can get a much better deal. I paid $99 a month for, again, 300 megabytes a second Wi-Fi service plus the 180 channels, and it's all streaming. I don't have to pay for the boxes, and I own my own hardware equipment. And that's the question. If you could address that, Steve, maybe what's some of the better, newer routers and TV boxes combined or whatever might be a good deal for the people?
Well, there's several. This day and age, you can almost get anything, you know, at Best Buy or Sam's or BJ's, and all those routers are going to perform pretty much as advertised. You know, you're looking at paying anywhere from $150. You can pay more for a higher speed, but you can get your own router modem for a fairly reasonable price. Over a year, you'll save money. The downside to that, if you have an issue, your internet service provider is immediately going to say it's your router. Now, fortunately, I know enough to respond back to them, and you can all use the same thing, is I've already run the diagnostics on the router, and it's fine. It's your issue. Once you say something like that, they think that you know what you're talking about, whether you do or not, and they start investigating as they should. Now, we're talking a little bit about the new smart TVs being able to stream directly to them, and that's true. I like to say a Fire Stick will turn it from to a PhD, but if all you're looking for is the basics, you don't need the third-party apps, then that's a great way to go, is a decent smart TV. And just make sure that they have the capability to run the apps that you want to see, like YouTube TV, etc. But that's good. If you have one of the older TVs, that doesn't have that capability, the Fire Sticks, the Roku, any of those will help you turn it into a smart TV. And it gives you the advantage of the third-party apps.
I'm back again.
You're
So,
back.
you were knowledgeable about Spectrum running fiber optic along Buena Vista. Is that just to connect the squares and not to come to our residential homes?
No, I think it's CenturyLink that's doing that. I could be wrong on that. That's just my best guess because they have the poorest service as far as speed. Now, you don't run that much cable just to tie into town squares. They're going to want it branch off that and into each individual village. So it's coming. Fiber optic is on the way. So's the bill. Anything? Nope.
I have one more comment for you.
He's
Which
back.
is, yeah, I'm back.
Yes, sir.
Which is the cost of the hardware that you rent from Xfinity, okay? I mean, right now, if you're renting a set-top box with a, quote, DVR built into it, that's a $15 a month cost. Incidentally, you can buy that from Comcast if you want. I forget what the price is, but you can buy it. Services like YouTube TV have a virtual DVR built into it, or into the service. So and it's unlimited on the amount of space that you can put in there, because essentially all they're doing is going back to the original files that they have in their server. So you can save yourself, you know, $150, $180 a year by going to some service like YouTube TV and using their service, which is almost identical to the on-screen display that you get from Xfinity.
Yes, and I like the fact that with YouTube TV, if you want CNN, you can move that up the list so it comes to the top of your programming. So, yes, sir.
If you're a snowbird like I am, with YouTube TV, they allow you to switch locations twice a year. So when we go to Michigan, it says, oh, I see you moved. Is this permanent or is this temporary? So I say it's permanent, even though it isn't. Anyway, so they switch me to the local channels. Now I come back to the villages, same thing happens. So it's if you're a snowbird, you just have one YouTube account and it follows you wherever you go. In addition, if you're in a motel and you have a stick, you can stick it in their TV and you can get all your channels and all your history and everything else off of YouTube TV and use it if you're at a resort or something like that as well.
Absolutely. That's the advantage of getting one of the sticks to put in the TV, is that you can. It is portable. You can take it with you wherever you go.
Any other questions?
Last call. I just want to thank you so much. My information's up there. The best way to contact me is actually by a text if you have any questions. I've got Verizon, and their message box doesn't last real long. So
Okay.
please feel free to contact me.
Thank you, Steve. Couple things. Donna, I need you to get 2 tickets pulled out for the baskets from One Trust. And let me say that next month here, our speaker will be Dr. That's good. Okay, I'm old, and that's called Dr. Craig Curtis, who's an Alzheimer research doctor. I have seen this presentation. It's actually something you want to see. There's some great strides that are being made in Alzheimer's disease, and we have many, many people here that have that live in the villages. So it's going to be interesting. And I want to say before you guys leave, donuts in the back, but on behalf of the POA, myself and my board and my officers, I want to wish you all a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas, and hope to see you guys next month. Okay, the 2 numbers are, and forgive me, but I got to put my glasses on because I can't see without them. For the first basket, and I'll let them decide which one. Last four numbers, 3344.